I've recently had the opportunity to sit down and chat with some of my mastermind sisters about their experiences of personal growth and transformation within the Charmed Life Mastermind. These conversations were completely unscripted outside of an outline of a few key questions that I asked each of them. It's my intention in sharing their stories that any of you who might be curious or on the fence about joining the mastermind can find a sense of connection in each of their experiences to understand the common struggles and outcomes that we face and work towards inside of our community. Here is one such interview. Enjoy. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Karmon, and I am a recent immigrant to Virginia from Boston. So I'm happily getting to know this area. And I am a manager of a team of people who work in technology. I've been a member of the mastermind since the beginning because I have been a long-term follower of Alexis. Years and years now.
Yes, you're definitely one of my OGs, and you're one of the founding members of the mastermind as well. So, when it comes to you joining the mastermind, why did you initially join, other than being a long-term follower of mine?
Well, because I was a long-term follower, I had a sense of what was going to be here, at least at the most basic level. I've attended your live classes on YouTube, and you had great workbooks and great takeaways. I always had a ream of notes that went along with it. So that set me up, that set my expectation for coming into the mastermind. And then after that, I started thinking of it was COVID. I was working from home. I'm somebody who enjoys planning. It makes me feel, it gives me the illusion of control. And during COVID, that was very important. And having an opportunity to talk to other people who are interested in that was just a perfect opportunity. So all the right things happened at the right time.
So were you looking per se for a community, or was it more like I presented the opportunity and it was like a culmination of let's go ahead and do it?
I was actually looking for a community.
Okay.
I had tried a couple of others. And they just, they would throw out the tools and then there would be no actual community.
Okay.
And that is one of those things that I have enjoyed about the mastermind is it's definitely a growing community. It's a new technology for a lot of the members, but they are willing to give it a try. And as they have, it's growing and the conversations are taking place that I was looking for. And that's one of those, things that was surprising based on my last experiences.
Yeah. So then going into that, that was one of the things that surprised you. I was going to ask, what things once you got in surprised you about the mastermind?
It surprises me because first of all, there is such a variety of people. I know you have a tendency, Alexis, to focus on the CEO, that entrepreneurial side of it. And a lot of the members are in that community, but obviously I'm not. I manage people. So I bring a different set of questions to the room. But because of the variety of people in there, you get a variety of perspectives, which I've come to really appreciate. And I appreciate also, and I'm surprised by essentially the honesty of the people there. There's sometimes, it's an uncomfortable conversation and people are willing to have it and be supportive of one another.
Yeah, that's definitely really good. I was this is one of the reasons specifically as well that I kept this community to women only, right? Is that I wanted to make sure it was a safe space for women, because the way we talk about productivity inside of the mastermind and really with all of my content is in such a way is that I'm coming from this perspective that I think normal conversations about productivity or normal strategies, we would say traditional strategies, come very much from a business background and very much from men really speaking to other men about how to manage their time. And that's all well and good. And that's definitely the foundation I got. But the struggles that women have with managing their time, I really find the expectations on women are just so different than the expectations on men. It doesn't mean that men couldn't jive with what we were saying, but I really want it to be a place where, it's an all girls club here. You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about really what happens, and we don't have to feel like we're being judged by anyone. And, any of us can share an experience, even if it isn't one we have personally had. I think we understand from that empathetic sort of female perspective. I could see how that would happen to me, or I've seen it happen to other people. And, the relatability there is so high. So I'm glad that you really appreciate that sort of connection that we've got going on. So thank you.
It's a lovely community with, honestly, like I said, just people at different stages of their career as well, which is also a great addition.
Yes, absolutely.
And we look like we've
and it's not just for business owners. It's all, like you said, you're not a business owner. There are many, CEOs in there, but of life there. And I said,
the different stages of their careers. And I love the fact that we have everybody from people who are relatively new in their careers to, honestly, people who are retired.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Because I really think that what we talk about in the group, this personal development quest, this organizing our life quest, it could apply to anyone, like anyone in life, any stage of life you're in. If you're currently desiring more, if you're currently willing, really wanting to expand into more options, or see, what else you can do with the life you have left, right? This is the sort of theme we have going on, is creating and designing your best life and living your charmed life, to the fullest with what you have available to you, and constantly being on this journey of personal development, so that you can learn more and be more and do more and all that great stuff. So that's wonderful. So how has your experience been specifically with the classes and the resources and the tools that I create?
I told you this before, but I am happy to repeat it. I loved last year's vision board sessions.
Yes.
I had not done a vision board before. I kind of thought it was like, it's pretty, but what does it do? But part of the community did the vision board session and put it in my planner. I achieved those things on it.
Yes. And and it was even sooner than the end of the year, right?
Definitely. I changed locations, changed jobs. Only thing I didn't get to do was travel. But again, that was
also on my to-do list too, was have a nice vacation if I could. And it just didn't feel like it was safe, It was something that if the situation had been different last year, for sure, I would have done something by the end of the year. But no, so that's obviously very reasonable, right? But everything else.
Exactly. So this year, that was, I'm like, that was definitely on my calendar. So that was great. But it's also the variety of the workshops. It is everything from being productive to your mindset. So because they're related, but they don't necessarily, who has time to talk about all of that without, devoting their life to it? That's why we have you.
Yes. No, the way I look at it is I read all of the books and I go through the research and I sift through and I find the best bits and I give you guys, you trust in me and say, I trust that Alexis has done some work on this. What I hand you, you can just put into practice, right? It's like, don't spend 30 hours reading that gigantic stack of books. Not saying that you shouldn't read, and obviously we do read as part of our community, but a lot of people don't have the time to do the research that I'm doing, and then I synthesize it and give it to you guys into practical steps. So yes, I'm glad that you're someone who makes use of that. And in terms of the tools, you are a planner person. Do you use the inserts or do you use different inserts?
So I use different inserts because I use a bigger planner than you do. I do the mediums, the 7x9 size. So I can use your half sheets, no problem, but it's not unusual for me to print off something a little larger. So I can use it. But I'm also, again, the focus of yours is not the same focus of mine. I've got to manage a team of people. We should talk about that as an insert, by the way, woman.
I'm all ears when you have time.
I know.
You know all about making different inserts.
That's another great thing. You are definitely listening to the community when it comes to your products.
Yes.
So, and I know that sounds cheesy to say, but I appreciate you saying, hey guys, what do you think about this?
Yeah. And what do you guys need? And then when I hear, like, I talked about this before in another call, but you know, when I heard the way some people were using that project planning matrix, I didn't think that that was how people were using it because no one had told me that before. And once some people told me, and it was a couple of you who were like, oh, we use it this way. I'm like, hold on, I can design this more optimally now that I know that that's what you're looking for.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I love it. And that's why I need this sort of feedback. But, you know, very often I do find that, you know, that people sometimes don't know what necessarily what they need, right? So me throwing some stuff out there is kind of like the spaghetti on the wall, and you guys can say, oh, that, but a little bit like this. Or, you know, even just like the things that you bring me, like the information, like the one, you know, we had at the one office hours call, you were talking about, you know, productivity tips for your new job, you know, onboarding new people and creating systems. And yeah, that's not normally a talk I would have, you know, with the group, but bring it up. I think we came up with some good information as a group because there's plenty of people in the group who have corporate experience, right? Who have that experience of being that management person and having to coordinate and do systems. And systems was a mastermind, right? So, you know, that was one of our classes.
And we bring that wealth of your experience you know, Strange and Charmed.
Yes, because I did come from a corporate background.
Yep. So, you know, and again, that is one of those things that I find helpful is I know that you have been in my world. So even though that's not where you are right now, I know you understand, like, I don't control my day.
Yes.
Everybody else is scheduling my day.
Yes.
So, and you said something like, once, you know, you may not have time for a top 3, but your top 1.
Yes.
You know,
well, sometimes you set the top 3 and you set them prioritized. So when you have that free moment, what's the most important thing? What's the next most important thing that needs to be done?
And also having somebody who's outside of yourself. And this is you, this is the entire group. It's like, Karmon, you're putting down projects, not tasks on your top 3.
True.
I was too close to recognize that.
Yes.
So again, being able to have these conversations and talk things through, it just, you can journal and get there.
Yes.
But you're still limited by your own experience. You don't have that opportunity of somebody who is not in the middle of it.
Correct.
With looking at it with clarity.
If you're too close, you can't see it. You got to step back sometimes. So it is good to have the group in order to get that sort of a perspective. So you already told me a little bit about some success you had this year with the vision board and all of those things on your vision board coming true within reason. Were there any other wins that stood out to you this year that you attribute to the information, the support, or the atmosphere, accountability in the group?
Right. Well, as I mentioned earlier, when I mentioned just recently moving and again, related to the vision board, but even that process of moving and that major lifestyle change, it was everything from hitting up the board and just saying, guys, this happened, celebrate with me, to even advice on packing. You know, we all have been there. We all have advice. We've all had, you know, so, you know, even those elements of it, but just, you know, it's the community, the mastermind. We have these opportunities with you to have workshops and office hours, but that's not all it is. It's not all focused on that. It's focused on sharing. Yeah, that's what I would say. But in terms of successes, this, and I can't contribute or attribute it just to the mastermind. It's been the Alexis method.
Okay. So just me in general. Got it. Okay.
Exactly. You know, the groundwork you've set up over the years of, you know, it's your planner, make it your planner. You don't have to, that was probably the thing that appealed to me with your early videos that I watched is, you know, this has to work for you. You have to customize it for you.
Yeah. So
and
stop going. It's one of those things that always gets at me, that it's like the way planners are often presented is, here's the planner. Now you learn how to fit your life into it. And I'm like, no. Backwards. this tool needs to fit in your life. It's not that you need to learn how to use these little boxes and these spreads. It's that you need to find the spreads that speak to the way you already think and all the things that are going on in your life.
Yes, exactly. And you keep exposing us in the community to new ways of looking at our planners.
Yeah.
So again, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah. Great. I'm so glad.
And that's actually what comes down to the community itself. It is constantly evolving.
And I will say that too, this is another conversation I'd already had with someone else as well, which is that something you guys are going to notice is that we've gone through a full year of this group at this point. And I just went through the past 2 master classes were the same ones we had done when we first kicked off. And so there had been a comment that they were even better the next time around, basically, that things have gotten even more useful. And that's because through the evolution with the community, as we go through all of these classes, you guys also challenge me to now I have to show up on a higher level. Now I have to integrate, now that I've taught you guys this framework, now I have to integrate it into everything we're doing so it helps me to up level as well. And you're absolutely right. It is that sort of collaborative community effect that it even has on me as well, which is one of the reasons why I have this masterclass as well. It's not just, yes, it was to help my community, but also you guys are just as much accountability and inspiration and the testing ground for my ideas as well, so that I can refine those things and create the best methods for as many people as possible. All right, so that's wonderful.
And you give us such variety. There are things that you post on and share with us that I'm like, okay, I'm not in the place in my life where that's good for me. Mm-hmm. That's not the right piece for me right now. Mm-hmm. But then other people in the community are like, yes, this is exactly what I needed right now.
Yes. So I really think about it in all different areas, right? So I'm trying to touch each of you, even if everything doesn't touch everyone. I'm trying to put out a variety, cast a really wide net so everyone gets something from it.
Exactly. There's enough variety that it's a big community. It has the ability to really expand and enclose a lot of people in the community. It's not like, oh, you come in, you're an 8 o'clock person, you do this, you do this, you do this, your morning routine is this, and this is how you. No.
Yeah, this group is not just for one type of person. It's not just for one style of life. It's not just for one calling or vocation, right? Even like I said, even though I talk to online business people, I like to talk to them specifically very often. Mm-hmm. There's more than just that inside of the group. There's a lot of different experience. So I'm glad that, that you've been able to, resonate with some of the content, and you find that there's enough of it that you have stuff to do. It's not like you're getting bored. And it's not like everything is like over your head or like below you. You're like, this is passing me by. Like none of this stuff applies to me. Something.
Well, and there's stuff that you've seen it. And again, you may not be there at that point, but you're like, oh, I saw that. I'm ready for this now. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, because of you, I finally downloaded Spotify.
Oh my gosh.
I've been a Pandora person for years.
I used to be Pandora too, but then the whole world seemed to move to Spotify, and I was like, okay, I'll just go to Spotify then.
But I've got all my playlists curated like I want them. But
you can still use both.
Alexis is going to Spotify.
Paying for it, right? Because you were paying for it. Okay, I was like, you could still use Pandora and use Spotify because you can still do Spotify for free. Like it took me a long time to even buy Spotify.
Yep. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I'm listening to Alexis's stuff, She's got some great resources. Okay.
Yeah. So then to bring all this home, wrapping it up, what would your advice be to someone who was thinking about the mastermind, but they're on the fence?
Well, if you're somebody who expects it to be fed to you, this is not the right mastermind.
I don't think one of those exists actually, but yeah.
No, but if you're willing to step up, we've got some new cohorts coming into the group right now. It's wonderful to see. They're stepping up and saying, hi, this is who I am. If you're willing to do that, you're going to find everybody saying hello back.
Yeah. If you're willing to step up and put in the work and show up and be a part of the community, the community is going to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and you need to be looking for that community. Mm-hmm. So again, it's not a news feed where you sit there and passively watch it. You have an opportunity to say, oh, you had that experience? wow. Or, oh, I did too. This is how it worked for me. Glad to see you doing so well.
Yeah. And the same thing would you say with the classes as well? One of my things is you're going to get out of this whatever you put into it. So there's tons
Mhm.
of information within the group and within the classes. And it's like, if you're willing to show up live, you're going to get an amazing experience. If you watch the replay and watch it through and download the workbooks and go through the exercises and activities that I recommend,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
will, would
Oh,
you say
I
it's fair to
always go
say
through the
they
workbook.
will experience
Yeah,
some sort of change?
exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, the special workshops alone are enough to be worth the time to come in.
Yes.
I mean, the goal setting at the end of the year, it's always, again, like you said, I can see the changes in your process, but it's still the core
Yes, I've
process.
been refining it. The more you guys come to me and say, but how about this? And then I go, let me get back to you. I will figure out how this works. Or sometimes what you bring up actually changes my mind, right? And so I got to say,
Yeah.
you know what? I wasn't thinking broad enough here. I have to widen my stance on this, this point that I like to make,
Mhm.
because I have to be able to include for more options. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, and again, that alone, if you're somebody who just wants to come into the workshops, yeah, you can do that. I
And
don't think you're going to get the
there's
full value.
actually, I mean, you guys don't really know, but there's a lot of people, there's a fair amount of people who are not in the Slack, who just are going
Yeah.
in and watching the replays, or maybe coming live but aren't in the group. I haven't been able to get an exact, count on that, but I have a audit that I do every quarter, and I'm like, wow, there's still a bunch of people not in the Slack, right? Which is fine.
And they're missing. They're
You are missing
missing.
out, but it's also fine if you're not comfortable. Like you had mentioned earlier, there
Yeah.
is a sense of this is a little bit of a different, technology for some people, right? Some people know what Slack is, and yeah, of course I can. Yeah, no big deal. I already use it for work, or
Mhm.
oh, I've heard of that. I'm not afraid to go on like a forum or a chat sort of, software. And then some other people, it's like, nope, I don't want it. I just want Alexis's inserts. I just want to watch the classes, and I just want to be able to get all the replays, which is fine
Yes.
as well, as far as
Yeah,
I'm concerned. I'd love to
exactly.
have you in the group and making it better. And you have the ability to, when you do that, you have the ability to mold the future of the group as well. But
Exactly.
if you're not comfortable with
Exactly.
that, that's not something, I'm not requiring people to show up and do a head count.
Oh, but I'm judging them. I'm judging. I'm just,
Carmen's like,
I'm
I
joking.
know.
No, I assume that when they're ready, they will come
Yes,
to the
they will. I
Slack
agree.
group
When
and
they are
join
ready, they
us.
will come. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for this time, Carmen. I think that it's been very enlightening, hearing your point of view. And you're definitely someone who you've been in my community for a long time. You are a founding member of the Mastermind. And so I like being able to talk to people like you who really have put a lot of investment and a lot of time into what I'm working on, my life's work, right? And you were helping me make it possible and make it better. So I really hope to welcome a whole new group of mastermind sisters into our group, so we can just make it even more stronger, see where it goes. The sky's the limit at this point. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me, not only here, but in the community.
Absolutely. You're such a treasure, Carmen. Thank you so much.